Well, hello. Welcome back to another exciting edition of Coffee with Stephen. So this week's blog is entitled Power to the People. And I've been sort of a little resistant about overly commenting on what's taken place in New York with the election of Mondami and several other places as well. But I decided to go ahead and finally get around to doing so through, once again, a discussion between myself and the Colonel in our O Club. And in it, Cosmo brings up an interesting point, and that's the concept of federalism. The fact of the matter is that under federalism, people do have the right to move from one poor policy state to a better policy state. And certainly we've seen that over the course of the last, really, 10 years here in California. And as you all are aware, Idaho, Texas, and Florida have been direct beneficiaries of a lot of California and New York dollars moving into those jurisdictions. What's interesting with capitalism is that capitalism, something that Mondami is very adamantly opposed to, is predicated on the idea that individuals, through a fairly large amount of freedom, are able to maximize their efforts and their labor in order to generate stuff. And that stuff is then subsequently taxed, and then that taxation is used, arguably, to benefit the commons. Socialism, and more to the extreme, communism, on the other hand, is completely different. In those economic models, the resources are not the stuff that is produced by the people. Rather, the resources are the people themselves. They are the things, they are the widgets that are owned by the state. As an individual, we talk about the concept of the state owning personal property. In reality, when you get to a level of Marxism, the state owns you. You are the factor of production. Well, that's fine, I suppose, but it becomes extremely problematic for a state if their product is walking out the door. That's one of the reasons why we saw the Berlin Wall. We like to romanticize the idea that people were yearning for freedom, and that's why the Soviets had to construct this wall. But the reality is, they were simply afraid of losing their factors of production. People were moving to the West, and they were doing so for obvious reasons. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what type of authoritarian impulses suddenly manifest in a situation that's now taking place in New York. In any event, I do hope you enjoy the blog. As always, train constantly, train consistently, train repetitively, and train with purpose. Above all else, stay safe.